Hi there. I've been out of the running for a couple of days because I had a recurring medical problem. I had to go to hospital. And once again, I can report that Dutch hospitals are very, very good. Although it is announced that they'll be cut the cost of them next year. All those things like cutting cost everywhere, all these cost savings exercises are simply a sign of fossil fuels running out and not being available. So in order to prevent people noticing that costs are cut everywhere so that it's not spent, and then you don't miss it because you don't want to try to buy it. I actually talked to my sister and she to explain what I was doing because she thought I was very aggressive, but I don't think I'm really aggressive enough in the sense that there's really very little you can achieve if you don't adhere to the common myth of people that people believe in, is that you have to make money and that you have to do everything with money. And the less people own in society, the less powerful they are, the less they can do without money. Um, because if you have a piece of land and you can do what you want on it, you can demonstrate all kinds of new ideas. And if you don't have that, or if you want to keep it exactly the way that the neighbors keep it, or better, then you're really stuck. You really cannot express any new ideas except through an investment, a patentable invention, investment, and etc. And then you're part of the system. And if your invention is a threat to the carbon credit system, it will be parceled up, thrown away, made very expensive, forgotten about, smeared, whatever. And if it's not a threat, if it's basically enables people to use more carbon, more fossil fuels, so that there's more fees for the banks and the intermediaries, then of course everybody says welcome and come on. And there's a whole media education campaign going on in Holland, where people are being explained how important the fossil fuel industry is for Holland, and how powerful we are in the world actually, that we are one of the biggest distributors, and we have all these ships here, and we have Shell, and that's all true, but it's all very destructive to the world. So actually, we would be wiser if we found an alternative ourselves, but the problem with that is that we cannot see how to have a monopoly on an alternative to fossil fuels, and that we have worked really hard to get this monopoly in order to profit from it, at least the rich people. One of the commenters actually sent me a message that he was writing a paper about Roboeconomics, which is that you basically replace all the fossil fuels by renewables, but keep the automated production, so that in the end you will have automated production running on renewables, which is costless, and you have a society with people that basically have everything they want, as long as it can be made by a machine. And if it cannot, then of course there's plenty of people to work to produce it if enough people want it. But you don't have any problems, you don't have any scarcity anymore, because that's the beauty of distributed energy production. It's like making the mechanical world alive by giving it its own energy sources locally, so that let's say your bakery or your production line doesn't stop working because some oil truck somewhere didn't come through, or there's no bank that gives you credit to buy that oil. All those things are not possible anymore. It's much more resilient. It's a question where society would end if renewables were readily available to everybody. But one could imagine that it would be a very well organized society, where the people in power will still have to distribute the energy over the population, but where, let's say, in a way, in order to make social coherence work, because you cannot let everybody do exactly what they want, because some people are bigots, and that's let's say a mental affliction. You have to you protect others against bigotry, if everything's okay. But other than that, it could work very well, and it's a cleaner world, it's a more fun world, it's a more quality-oriented world. It's an eternal world, because of course you don't destroy the chances of humanity to survive at all on this planet, and it will be the de facto standard for the rest of human history, because why would you move away from a situation where you can do whatever you want without, let's say, depleting natural resources, and you can recreate the natural environment, because you have plenty of energy to do that. And that's one of the biggest weaknesses of the market approach to renewables. And I don't have to shouldn't talk too long because it's something with my reading, but is that it's always return on investment, and that's simply not realistic. If you take from nature, you destroy, you cut down a forest and you just move away, you don't replace it, then you have to realize that in order to, let's say, reset the situation a little bit, you have to give and not get any return. So you have to plant forests that you're not gonna cut down later. And you have to build installations that are not going to be profitable. They're simply not there to be profitable at all. You're basically allocating part of the oil in the carbon credit system in order to mitigate and counter the effects of oil. And the nice thing is that if you make an installation that counters the effect of burning 1 liter of diesel, using 1 liter of diesel, then let's say, and it mitigates the effects of 1 liter of diesel every day or every year, then let's say after 1 year you're gonna have a netto profit, and after that it still continues on and on and on. So basically your installations, your recovery installations can be much more productive and effective than actually the energy you have to put into them. So I would say it's possible if you simply work out how to do it, and it's even more possible if you work out how to make renewable installations using solar energy directly or renewable energy electricity, because that is a self-perpetuating growth model. That's Roboeconomics. Roboeconomics is simply making sure that robotics, automated systems, repair the ecosystem with renewables. So that's the robo and the eco part. And that you have a society that runs on the trade of, for instance, renewable energy instead of fossil fuel, so that producers have the energy to produce what they want. But it's not said that you will have to trade energy in a robo-economics situation, because my home will be simply neutral, and I will drive my car energy neutral with panels in the company or some installation in my neighborhood that I've been investing in and that have paid off and all that stuff. So there's no need for me to buy electricity anywhere, so I don't have to trade, and the same can go for the factory. It's simply a matter of, the energy trade could be very, very small. Why would you always get your energy out of Morocco and use it in Holland if you can make enough in Holland? Anyway, I will quit this video now. I think it's very interesting. I'm looking forward to it, to that description, economical analysis of roboeconomics that he calls brilliant economics, I believe, which stick to the name. I will stick to the name. I'll be talking about the same thing. And I've got some new ideas because I was lying in these hospital beds, and there's lots of time to think about things, so I'm working on that. And I'll tell you about it later when I've recovered a little bit more. Thanks for listening.